There's a school in London, England, called Dalmain Primary. Built in 1873, it's one of the oldest in the borough. Its bricks blackened by a century and a half of London's grime. The logbooks date back to the start. Every child's name, every lesson, every punishment etched in brittle ink. A ledger of lives, laughter, and secrets. But something's always missing. At the heart of the school was a staircase, cold, wide, concrete, its steps worn slick by time, flanked by heavy oak doors with frosted glass panes. The glass let in a sickly, fractured light, blurring whatever stirred beyond. The air around it was wrong, too cold, too dense, like the building was holding its breath. After 1943, the children were forbidden to use it. No reason was given. Only whispers of structural issues. No one dared ask. Beneath the staircase was a crawl space, not a basement, not a room, a hollow, 12 feet long, 4 feet high, carved into the earth like a gaping throat. Before 1943, it was used for storage, cramped, cluttered, forgotten. After, it was boarded shut, nails rusted, wood warped, untouched for decades. Some places cling to what they've taken. The story began in 1943, wartime. Dalmain Primary became a refuge for children whose homes had been bombed to ash. The school stayed open, its corridors dim, its walls shuddering with distant sirens. One bleak October day, a teacher, Miss Harrow, all sharp bones and colder eyes, sent a boy to fetch a football. The last had been lost to the roof. The crawlspace still held old gear, relics from before the war. Thomas was 10, small but stubborn. He crawled in, flashlight trembling in his grip. He never came back. They found him hours later, curled in the dust, skull shattered, blood pooling on the stone. The ceiling was too low, they said. A jagged edge had caught him. He'd collapsed, suffocated in the stale, ravenous air. The crawlspace was sealed that night. The staircase was locked, declared unsafe. Thomas's name was scrubbed from the logbooks, like he'd never been, but the stairs never forgot. In 1994, Terry went looking for answers. 12 years old, his last day at Dalmain before secondary school, restless, brash, the kind of kid who'd climb a wall just to win a dare. The boy under the stairs was a ghost story. A dare whispered in the playground. Most kids laughed it off. Terry didn't. Something in the staircase called to him. Not just curiosity. A pull, like a cold hand on his spine. That final summer day. The school half empty. Teachers distracted. Terry and his friend Liam slipped into the corridor. The staircase loomed. Its doors stood like silent guards. Frosted glass flickering with shadows that didn't match the sunlight. They found the barrier. Warped plywood. Nails loose. Wood. Soft with rot. Terry pried it open. The groan of the wood was like a low scream. The crawlspace gaped before him. Black. Endless. Exhaling a sour metallic breath that burned his throat. Terry crawled in. The darkness ate him alive. The air was thick, reeking of rust and rot, like something had died and stayed. His knees scraped the jagged floor. His hands brushed fragments, torn paper, a rusted buckle, something soft that crumbled like bone dust. The flashlight flickered. The dark was swallowing it whole. Then he heard it. A faint drag, like leather scraping stone, just behind him. He wasn't alone. His fingers touched something near the back. An old football, hard, leather, stitched tight, heavier than stone. It smelled of mildew and blood, and when he touched it, it pulsed, warm, slick, like a beating heart. Thump, a single sound, sharp, deliberate, like a ball bouncing on concrete, inches from his ear. Terry froze, his heart slammed against his ribs. Thump! Closer now, behind him, where the light couldn't reach. He spun. The beam shook. For a heartbeat, he saw it. A shadow. Too tall for the crawlspace, its head bent at a grotesque angle, eyes glinting like wet glass, fixed on him. He scrambled back, the football clutched to his chest. The walls clawed at his shoulders. The air thickened. The thump chased him, steady, relentless, like footsteps stalking the dark. He burst out, gasping, collapsed in the corridor. Liam was pale, shaking. He said Terry had been gone too long. Said something moved in there. Terry didn't answer. He shoved the football in his bag and ran. The staircase's shadow stretched behind him, like fingers. He thought he'd escaped. That night, the dreams began. He was back in the crawlspace. The ceiling pressed his spine. The air was mud, choking. The thump came, closer each time. A rasp followed, like breath through shattered teeth. Sometimes he saw it. That shadow, too tall, head bent, eyes glinting. It didn't walk. It flowed, like oil spilling through the dark. He woke screaming, hand smeared with gray dust, as if he'd been crawling in his sleep. The football wouldn't let him go. He threw it in a skip, buried it in the park. It always came back, under his bed, in his bag, once on his pillow. Still warm, still pulsing. He burned it, petrol, flames, leather blackened. The next morning, it was back in his closet, unburned, heavier, wet, thump. He heard it in the house now, from the walls, the floor, the ceiling. Always one bounce, always closer. His bedroom door creaked open, just an inch, and in the gap, he swore he saw eyes. In his 20s, Terry found an old photo, a 1943 class picture from Dalmain. Miss Harrow stood in the middle, eyes like blades. And at the edge, a boy. Face half-shadowed, head bent, eyes locked on the camera. Not a smile, a promise. Terry moved, changed cities. But the thump followed. He found a hidden forum. Others whispered of Dalmain. A janitor from the 80s. Heard the thump, then laughter. Not human. A girl in the 60s. Saw a face through the glass. Its mouth, too wide, dripping red. A teacher in 2004. Found a football in her classroom. Old. Pulsing. She disappeared days later. Each story ended the same. Stay away from the stairs. Terry posted his story. A reply came. It's not Thomas, it's older. Tied to the land. He returned to South London. begged to see the logbooks. 1943. No Thomas. No death. But a page was missing. Torn out. Edges stained black. Oily. Like blood gone wrong. Thump. It echoed from the corridor, shaking the floor. Last week, Terry went back. Dalmain was closing, marked for demolition. The staircase stood untouched. Glass cracked. But holding. He stood alone, the air thick, sour, coppery. Thump. It came from below. Slow, deliberate. The frosted glass flickered. A shadow moved behind it, tall, bent, head scraping the ceiling, eyes glinting, locked on Terry. Thump. He backed away. The sound followed. Into the corridor, into the street, into his car. His flat is a prison now. He records his story on a cracked phone. Gray dust pools in corners, spreading. The football sits on the table, pulsing, wet, heavier each day. Thump. It's at his door now, every night, louder, closer. The scratches on the wood are too high, too deep. Terry knows he's marked. It's not Thomas. It never was. It's older, hungrier, woven into the land. Since before 1873, it waits for kids who crawl too close, who take what's hers. Some places don't let go. He dreams of the staircase, the glass glowing red, the shadow inches away, its bent head grinning. It's coming for him. And if you hear it, it's coming for you.